Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to use the Lite custom firmware 6.60 and basically the 6.60 me version 1.4. Basically what this is the same thing as the full just custom firmware, but every time you turn off your PSP fully, not if you put it in standby, but if you turn it off, by removing the battery or holding the power button down, it will put it back to official firmware. Okay, so you can use plugins, a good chunk of them, any of them that would work for the real hacks. The one thing that I have tried that didn't work was custom XMB. Did not work on here. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm pretty sure the only way you can do it is with a real hack. This is a fake hack. It works perfectly good, and it works with all my PS1 games, my emulators, and my PSP games. I do not support hacking, and this is for educational purposes, but let's get started. Basically, you need your PSP. I have my white 2K with Vader on the back, which means it's a limited one that's actually hackable. But for those of you who are the unhackable motherboard, the 2K with the unhackable motherboard, 3 and go. This will work for you guys. And if you do have the hackable or the 1K, you might as well just do the full hack, which I have another video. I can put a link to show you. So if you have the 1K and or the hackable motherboard, go to my other video and I'll show you how to full hack it. So basically, turn it on. We're gonna need firmware 6.60. Right now I have 6.35 to the only reason I did that was so that I could show you how to update on up to 6.60. It's pretty simple, so basically, if I go to system information, as you see, hopefully, that it is actually 6.35. So I used to use this one all the time with my unhackable PSP. So basically what we need to do is, best thing to do is usually format, but you know, as long as you're upgrading, it's not really a huge deal to a higher firmware. So we're gonna go to the computer and I'll meet you there. Okay, so at this point we're gonna have you do a download, which is one I got all the files and organized it the way I like. So basically you'll download it to wherever. Extract it to the desktop is usually easiest, so that's what I suggest. And you'll get your, I put it as Lcfw 6.60 me version 1.4. And if you guys don't know, the Lcfw basically means Lite custom firmware. So what you'll get in here is 3 folders and 1 readme file. The readme file is more or less for you guys who you know, aren't watching the video, because I have this up on my webpage and I will be putting up other hacks that I might not necessarily be putting up as a video later on. So check out my webpage, and there should be a thing saying that there is something up there, or just go to the links part of it. But from here we're gonna copy the update, the launcher, and the installer. So copy that and go to your PSP, which mine happens to be on removable disk F. Yours might be removable disk J or whatever. It doesn't really stay very consistent. It kind of depends. But inside that, you should have your basic folders. Some of you might have more if you're more of an experienced PSP user. But you're gonna want to go into the PSP folder from there, and then the game folder. And I already had the installer and the launcher in there, but I'm just gonna delete them for the purpose of this and paste it in. So right now it's going to take a couple seconds to copy these onto the PSP game folder, and so at this point we can go back to the PSP, and this is all we'll need the file for. So technically you don't even need that at this point anymore. So I'm going to get out of that and go meet you back at the PSP. Okay, now back to the PSP. So we're gonna go over to the game folder and go down so that we can get into it. And basically inside you should find three things. You should find basically the LME installer. You should find the LME loader, and then the PSP update version 6.60. Now if you already have 6.60 on there, then you can kind of skip this point, because it's only really for those who have a lower firmware. I'm sure there's not very many of you, but either that or downgrade, just to make sure that everything works right. I mean, a clean slate like of a firmware is always best in the case of you using some kind of hack. So let's start it up. My favorite thing in the world, if you guys watched my last video, is this PSP intro. For when you click into the games. I wish they would just get rid of it, which you can actually do with this. When you get into the finished part, you can go into the recovery mode, which actually works with this, and there's a thing in there that will allow you to disable both the game boot and the start boot, but I don't know if that start boot would work. Okay, so from here we're gonna just hit start, and it's gonna take its sweet time. You can read through this if you want. I'm not going to. I'm not gonna read it for you. I think most of it's bullcrap anyway. So yeah, and now we're going to skip ahead because obviously there's not much happening here. Okay, now that's done and it's all resetted, everything, it should be back. It should look all good. I'll show you that I am on version 6.60. Alright, right. See if you guys can see it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I am on official firmware 6.60. And basically now we just go back to games and we go, let's go ahead and delete the update, because at this point we don't need it anymore, so we're gonna delete that. And sorry, yes, okay, so it's deleted. Now what we want to do is we want to use the installer, right? The light installer for 6.60. And basically what this is going to do is it's going to set it up so that all you have to do is use the launcher. So don't worry, you're not going to have to use two different things every single time. Basically, it goes to this, and this is a whole bunch of awesome stuff, which you shouldn't care about unless you're really huge into that kind of stuff. And at the very bottom, it's going to tell you to press X. And here's where it loads all the stuff into your flash 0, which is basically what this stuff does. And then it says 6 seconds, and it's going to reset. So now we wait for the awesome PSP to reset. At least this logo, the boot up logo, really isn't that bad. It's just the game boot thing that irritates the crap out of me. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete the installer, because we just installed it and now we don't need it anymore. So now we have the launcher, and we launch it, and this is way easier than what the Pro was, because the Pro had the installer each time. Like, all you had was the installer. This one, basically, it skips having to press anything and just automatically does it for you. Just to let you know, now it does have the menu, and it's actually probably one of my favorite menus so far that I've found. And it automatically comes with it. That's same for the full hack, but let's not get into that. Basically, what I want to show you real quick also is in here there is such thing as a recovery mode, which if you don't know how to get into the bash menu, it's press select. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get rid of the boot. I might decide to not put this in, but we'll find out. Basically, you come up with a menu. I don't know if you guys can read that. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to go into configuration, which, like I said, I don't know if you can read that, but basically it's the second one from the top. And you click into that and you get this huge list. Well, in the list it says skip Sony logo. I use this all the time, but basically what I always do is make sure that the game boot, which right now it is, because I'm sure it has some part of it that's still like recognizes that, because I always do it with this PSP, that now it will always skip the game boot. And the best way I always found to get out of the recovery menu is select, or when you're in the main part of it. Otherwise, it'll just put you to the first part of the recovery menu. So that is light custom firmware, and it will basically run anything so far that I know of, such as PS1 games, which you're going to have to find yourself, don't ask me. PSP games, again, don't ask. And emulators. I might be willing to show you the emulators, but I'm not going to get you the games that go with the emulators. Basically, I'll show you the homebrew emulators, that such as the NES or the Game Boy, or whatever, but I'm not going to help you pirate. So thanks for watching. Peace.